Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Radio Free Wall Street. And this is one hell of a show. And I've been wanting to do this for a while. But we checked our numbers. We made sure we had everything right. And now I am here to tell you that with modern technology and monitoring, with diet alone, diabetes can be cured or at least put into remission, where people who are diabetics type 2 no longer have to take insulin. And they can control their illness by food alone. Let me tell you how this journey started. And let me tell you the results of this, and then let me tell you how you can do it. So if you are obese, I don't mean 10 or 20 pounds, but I mean a fat ass, or someone you know is. If you are pre-diabetic or diabetic, this is your lucky day. This is the day you can change your life. Now, if you are obese, you know you're headed to pre-diabetes, and then you're headed to diabetes. And if you're diabetic, let's talk straight. The disease progresses kind of an ugly way, and blindness, heart attack, amputations are the prognosis at the end, okay? I can stop that. You don't have to have that happen to you. And let me tell you how this happened. 2 years ago, I got a septic infection. One of my dogs jumped on me like they do, and scratched a little scratch on my belly. And the next thing I know, I'm in the hospital with a septic infection, full blown, on a drip, and shaking, and out of it, and near death. And was on massive dose of antibiotics. Was in the hospital for a week, 10 days. And then home on an antibiotic regimen for a month after that, okay? And rotating the antibiotics, okay? One for a course of one antibiotics 1 week and another, some of them at the same time. And I was healed. I mean, the next thing you know, I'm gaining an immense amount of weight, like 2-3 pounds a week. I've always been a fat ass, but I've always been able to control it with diet. Nothing worked. The next thing you know, I'm going on different food pyramids, whether it's the fruit pyramid, the grain filler pyramid, just one after the other, vegetarian. And I'm now down to 1,000 calories. I've been through 3 or 4 dietitians, and I'm gaining a pound or 2 a week on 1,000 calories. Dietitian calls me a liar. I said, no, I'm not. Yes, you are. That kind of thing. Screw it. So being a desperate person, I started, taking matters in my own hands, and I discovered a new device in Europe, was in the United States at that time, that allowed you to monitor your blood sugar by scanning, okay? And then I started with curiosity finding out which foods made my blood sugar go high. I was a pre-diabetic. In fact, the doctor has suggested starting the pills. Those who are diabetic, they get you on the pre-diabetic, they put you on the pills, and then from the pills you go to the insulin, then you go to the fast-acting insulin, slow-acting insulin. You know the drill. So I was on that road. And what happened was I started monitoring, and I found out that foods I was told I couldn't eat, I could, and foods I could eat were killing me. So I came up with this diet program, and I discovered the foods I could eat and couldn't eat. Without dieting, without watching calories, the weight started coming off, became healthy again, energy back, I'm alive. Well, make a long story short, people heard about it. And all of a sudden, I'm doing these sensors, and we made software to scan it and all that. The next thing you know, people who are diabetics with, I'm talking $1,700 a month worth of insulin in the belly shot after the meal, during the meal, for the meal, through the night, you know the drill, are no longer on insulin. And what made me, then we offered this, by the way, to our Wall Street insider, Wall Street Underground family. A bunch of people signed up, and now the results are coming in. And many people who are diabetics, and I mean many, who are sticking on the program are off the insulin, losing weight without trying, and healthy. I want to read something to you. One of our cases was a longtime subscriber who, it's like, I call her mom. I'm talking about one of these kick-ass moms, you know what I'm saying? She's a real serious person, real bright lady, and been a diabetic for 20 years. And we had problems with the equipment, we had problems with the sensors, we had problems like with any new thing. In fact, we told everybody that came on at that time that they were the originators, and that, they'd go along with us, and we finally got everything going, okay? Solved problems with near-field readers, solved problem with data acquisition. We were going to do this by people filling out sheets. We got it all down to where it's an app. And literally, we automatically scan the sensor. The data is automatically reported to us. All you do is go into the thing, write down the meals you did at the time you did with the menu we have there, and then we are able to find out what foods you can and can't eat. Well, this particular person I'm talking about had blood sugar running as high as 350 during the day in massive doses after every meal. And what scared the shit out of us at night, she was dropping down to 50 because we saw it with the monitoring, so much so that I had an emergency call because I was worried that we were going to lose her. Anyway, make a long story short, in a matter of weeks, her blood sugar is running 130, 140, and staying above 70, and she's within range. After 20 years of being on insulin and taking $1,500 a month worth of the stuff, under her doctor's direction, we don't get involved in any of the dosing and medicine. Under her doctor's direction, she's taken her completely off of insulin, and I can't be silent anymore because I've had too many people like this, okay? Let me read what a note. This is what she said. Her doctor said. Doc was impressed but shocked with numbers in insulin reduction to 0. Wants to see numbers next week to evaluate pill changes. Okay, that's a quote from the doctor. So let me tell you what's going on. Doctors are amazed and shocked. And listen, I don't believe I'm doing this because there are so many bullshit artists running the health scams, okay? I'm not in the health newsletter business, okay? We never were. But look, for those of you that don't know us, then, blow it off. But you guys have been with me 10, 15, 20 years. You know me. This shit is working. I got people who are lifelong diabetics who are, I guess we can call it in remission. And I found that there's a handful of foods they can't eat, like Triscuits, like ham. I got one guy that can't have milk. I got somebody that can't have crackers. Almost everybody can have Haagen-Dazs ice cream. I know you heard that right. Diabetic, eating Haagen-Dazs ice cream, for real, for sure, no shit, and does not have to take a shot, can have honeydew melon. It's amazing. We found little things like some creamy Italian dressings make them go over the edge with the sugar going sky high. Just normal meal, put a couple ounces of this creamy Italian dressing, they go crazy. Triscuits. I have one lady that can't eat Triscuits. I got another guy that can't have crackers. And so by this, I have one guy who goes crazy on sweet potatoes and on pasta, okay? So by all of a sudden finding the foods, we are curing diabetics. I call it a cure. I don't give a shit what the medical establishment wants to say it. Let's argue about it. I got the documentation. I got the proof. And I can't be silent about it because it was not anything we thought. I was on a diet plan for people losing weight, and all of a sudden people who are diabetics are not anymore, and I guess they say they're in remission and not taking the insulin and not going down the road. Do you know what kind of death diabetics have? And let me tell you why I know, because my publisher of over 20 years died a little over a year ago now of complications from his diabetes. He was a young man, and it was a shock to all of us. And so along the road, too late for Terry, we found a solution to this thing. Now, I want to be absolutely clear. I'm not blowing blue sky up your ass. This is too damn serious, and I can't be quiet about it. Evidently, what we're finding out is that we don't know what foods people can and can't eat. Half the world is obese and on the way to being diabetics, pre-diabetic or diabetic, okay? And it is a result of the food supply, and I believe changes in factory food, okay? For example, milk companies changed the kind of sugar they put in milk to satisfy the New York school system and came up with a different kind of lactose that's making people sick. I can tell you the way they cure meats, especially these deli meats, is obscene. Preservatives in seafood is another one. Monosodium glutamate, boy, I'll tell you what, people go crazy on that shit. And all of a sudden, a lot of healthy, whole grain, non-GMO, that kind of, all that advertising shit, we found it's all bullshit. And you don't know. Within 2 weeks of installing the sensor, which you've got to get a prescription from your doctor that monitors the glucose in your blood, we start finding out what foods you can and can't eat and eliminating them. And all of a sudden, people are coming to us with 300 on the glucose goes down to 200, 250. People are coming with 250 are going down 150, and we try to get people in a range of like between 70, 80, 130, 140 at the most, and we're able to get the target range. We've got the software now figured out to where we automatically, the sensor data is supplied to the smartphone we provide you and reads it automatically, so you don't have to read anything. Occasionally, to calibrate the sensor, a pinprick is nice. We supply a pinprick kit, finger strip. And the only thing you have to do is open up the app and put in at the time you eat it what you ate, okay? Now, the more specific you get, the better it is. Now, if you're healthy and slim and trim, and you got a six-pack, and you don't have any problems, and this is not for you. But if you're fat, and I mean a fat ass, 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds or more. By the way, we've got people that have lost 20 and 30 pounds in a month, and everyone loses weight on the diet. Everyone who is a diabetic and pre-diabetic finds significant improvement in their numbers, and the ones who've been on there long enough are becoming a lot of the drugs and medicine free. Bottom line, that's the story. That's the God honest truth. And this is too big because, by the way, now I'm not gonna rag on the medical establishment. The problem is they never had good data. In other words, the doctors didn't know what was going on with your blood. We're getting a reading every 15 minutes. In fact, we're getting a reading on the automatic system every minute or two. So basically, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, it'd be impossible to put that little needle in your finger and take a blood sample, 100 times a day. So therefore, the data wasn't available. No one knew what was going on. Now we know what happens minute by minute when you eat something. We can follow the rise of the food. We can follow the decline. We can follow how high you go. We can follow your resting sugar levels, known as glucose. We can establish your curve. And all of a sudden, in this wonderful world we're in, we discovered that people can eat French fries, but they can't have sweet potato. People can have veal cutlets breaded with ketchup. Ketchup. Diabetic. Ketchup. Almost everybody can eat ice cream, okay? But you can't eat the shit ice cream. The ice cream that's made with a bunch of chemicals, people can't eat. But the ice cream that's made with real cream, they can eat. We found that you can't eat milk chocolate, but you can eat 60 and 70% chocolate. Yeah, I know. This is the ice cream chocolate bar diet. People can have a slice of pizza. What we have found is this whole list of food that is individual as a person about what they can and cannot eat. And when we eliminate the food that makes the glucose go high, very simple, the glucose goes high, you can't have it, I don't care, that's it. And it's not a big list. And the amazing thing is that people can have honeydew melon, people can have grapes, some people can have bananas, some people can't, almost everybody can have cheese. Almost all meats are in if it's natural meat. Now, if it's the factory meat where they shoot it up with MSG and flavor enhancements, that's out. Okay, so basically it's regular meat. In fact, we have people who love like the pork sausage. Well, they can't eat those commercial brands. But if they buy the pork loin or the pork piece from the butcher, he grinds it up for them, they take it home and add their spices to it, it's fine, as amazing as it sounds. Okay? This is a journey that is life-changing for me. It's life-changing, and I want to offer to you. We have a bunch of people on the program and have been on it for, it basically goes back 2 years ago. I had friends and just people on it for a year, and then we rolled it out just to our Premium Pub subscribers. I think we did a one-time little offer on the thing, a little tape telling the story, and then got a bunch of people in there. And then we solved the problem with how to read the device with our reader, and then we solved the problem with the software so that people didn't have to enter every damn fingerprint like you can do. If you've ever seen the logbooks that diabetics have to keep, you understand it. Now we have voice recognition. You go in there and go, pizza. And then Domino's Pizza, Papa John's, every little pizza comes up, you pick the one, you tell us how much you had of it, and now we've got it. And potato chips, French fries, McDonald's hamburgers, whatever kind of food you have. And we found that it's pretty much a normal diet, okay? It's a lot of protein, controlling that. We found that it's a miracle cure. One of the most horrible diseases in the world. And I can't be silent about it anymore. We were playing it very cautious, and we didn't want to make any claims and all that bullshit. And, well, you got to be able to prove it and all this stuff. And then you're going to say bad things about, big food companies and the shit they're adding to the food. And I said, I haven't lived that way. I've taken on presidents. I've taken on Wall Street. I'm going to speak my truth and let the chip fall where they may. I am telling you that we are seeing diabetics no longer on insulin. We're seeing diabetics whose numbers are like normal people, okay, the normal readings, okay, and proven by just our tests. You go to your doctor. Here, doctor, by the way, we provide a full, a complete analysis on spreadsheets, both in PDF files and Excel files. Take it to your doctor. The doctor goes, I can't believe this. And then he does his own blood test and goes, holy shit, over and over again. This is what I heard, shocked doctors. Now, this is not some hype bullshit kind of thing. Doctors are amazed my cancer was gone. I mean, we've all heard the hype. This is not hype. This is the real deal. This really, 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 really works, and I can't tell you why. I mean, it's just if you eat food that makes your glucose go high out of bounds, we take it out of the diet, and then we have a huge list of foods you can eat, ones that all the food pyramids, all the diet programs are fully shit wrong. Bottom line, wrong. Why? Well, I think what's happened is that people's intestines and the flora in them are changing. I think the strands of preservatives and chemicals and the types of complex sugars that are factory sugars that are going into food are not reflected on the label. For example, we've had some processed meat, the corned beef, and we gave it to one of our diabetic people tried it, and the sugar went to the moon. And the meat, there's no sugar on the package, so we went ahead and tested it, and it turns out it's full of a very complex sugar that's used in the processing, okay? We found that many breads that claim to be gluten-free, whole grain, ain't worth a shit. And we found that a McDonald's hamburger and bun is acceptable to a lot of people with ketchup on it and the secret sauce they put on, all that crap. And the thing is, it's a mystery. Every day we get up, and the way it works is we have dietitians that review the data that comes in, and then we email you back on, well, that was a mistake here, this one's good, this one's bad. No, you can't. For example, we had one guy that was using these wellness bars, okay? Beautiful meal, beautiful numbers, ate the wellness bar, did a moonshot on his sugar, had eliminated. So, and then also there's phone call consultations. You get a hold of you and say, okay, here's what's going on. We find that people have to be shown how to use the devices, which we do. We have tape, we have telephone hope. And what's happened is we're just rolling out with this incredible discovery that is changing lives like nothing I've ever seen before. And hell, listen, it's humbling and shocking to me. You need to hear me. I am not a doctor. I am one hell of an analyst. I am a pretty good scientist in a hobby basis. And I learn how to analyze, read things, study things, put facts together, memorize things, and that's how I figure out what markets are going to do. And I applied that same charting, by the way, the same charting technique you use the market, the same pattern recognition studies, and applied it to people's blood sugar, and then correlated to what they ate. And we get graphs and all kinds of things. We provide an immense amount of data that we're generating. So we're generating a huge amount of data. We have the analytics set up. We have the algorithm set up, automated. And every week we're sending you a spreadsheet with your numbers saying, hi, here's where your sugar was, here's where you went high, here's where you went low, here's what you ate, here's what reacted and marked it in red, here's what you're eating, got to take out. Take it to your doctor and say, doctor, can we adjust my dosage? Now, basically, those of you who are diabetics know that the doctors are constantly adjusting your insulin dosage to what you're eating. And as you clean up, you can reduce your insulin, but we're insulin free. Let me tell you how this happened. I lived in Holland for a while, a number of years. I was building a yacht there, and I really love the Dutch. And we were in a yacht base in Amsterdam, and then I bought a submarine, which is still in the North Amsterdam harbor, a Russian submarine. That's a whole other story. And I love the Dutch people, and you have to understand them. They're all on top of each other, so it's a different society. Anyway, I was in a place called Enkhuizen. And Enkhuizen is a very old town. In fact, the town got together and was importing China from China on sailing ships, okay? And it was a little kind of town business. And anyway, there's a guy there who's famous for doing woodwork. He makes wooden masks and that kind of thing. So we were there, and he was doing some yacht work for us. Anyway, we ran across some old people and some Jewish people in the community left over there. And in this journey, we discovered this thing that during World War II, the Nazis were basically starving the Dutch. It's a pretty famous story about that, how them eating the tulip bulbs. But they cut off all the medicine. And I ran across this statistician guy there who was studying the World War II and the atrocities and all that. And he said that one of the things they discovered was that people who were diabetics were not diabetics. And they didn't have their insulin. You thought a lot of people would die. They didn't die. And the reason why was that they were going down to 500-600 calories a day, and they found they were cured. And that little thought stuck in my head, and I remember with Terry about that, and we never got into 600 calories a day. And then all of a sudden, this whole thing came along, and I realized, holy shit. What's happened is there are foods that people who are prone to diabetes are eating that's taken their sugar high, and the establishment way of handling it is giving them a dose of insulin to bring it down. A lot of, as you know, many people calculate what they're going to have for dinner and try to figure out what the dose is, and they never get it right because they're using standard tables of what the carbohydrates and sugars are. Well, we discovered that by testing directly the carb level in your body and the sugar in the bloodstream, that we could ascertain what foods we're doing. And that was the same with fat people. In other words, it's not about the calories. It's about what is the food being converted to in your body. In other words, you know, you can eat 50 jelly donuts, and I know people can do that, and they don't get fat because it just passes through them. They don't suck the sugar out of it. And then you got a guy like me. I walked past the donut shop. I gained 5 pounds. Okay, so all of a sudden, the breakthrough was that we could constantly read and monitor the blood level with this equipment, automatically record it, and then what we did was enter manually what we ate. In fact, we do, like, you speak in the machine, it says hamburger, and you got a whole these kind of choice of hamburgers, and you check the one that's it, you check the amount, that's it, you record at the time, and now I've got a spreadsheet. Okay, it's all digital, and it says, okay, look at this. These people had, balsamic vinegar. Can you tell me about what your homemade vinegar was? Because you had chicken, which is okay, and you had a baked potato, which is okay, and you had broccoli with cheese on it. But all of a sudden, your sugar's gone very, very high. Your glucose is off the scale, off the range we want. And they go, well, I made homemade Italian dressing. Okay, what'd you put in it? Well, I used healthy, these are true stories. I had healthy apple cider vinegar. And, okay, can you tell me something? Well, it turns out that instead of being distilled vinegar, it was fermented vinegar, and the vinegar was still fermenting, and in the gut it fermented and made the sugar go high. As crazy as it sounds. And we discovered all kinds of crazy shit like this, all kinds of little subtle things in the diet that made people fat. Like a guy had a normal meal, had a sweet potato. I'm talking about 2 ounces, and the sugar went crazy. So we've been going through this, and we develop a list for every individual what they can't eat. And if we get them to stop eating it, a miracle happens. Let me tell you the miracle. The weight falls off. Okay? I'm talking about 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, gone. The weight goes off. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, I don't need so much insulin. Doc, can I lower it? And they lower it. Finally, well, and as I said, make your refrigerator your medicine cabinet and make your food your medicine. I'm not talking about wacko, cacko, jujuba, vitamin D, C, E, E, F, G, Z, Y, Z, vitamin, and all this crazy shit only available from us. I'm talking about normal foods from normal stores, okay? Normal off-the-shelf products, and we establish which ones you can have, which ones you can't, okay? Nothing crazy, exotic shit about it. You know, some flower that grows in the Amazon jungle and only sprouts once every 5 years and all this crazy shit that all the con people are doing, making, especially us boomers, crazy. So what happened was we discovered that Haagen-Dazs ice cream was allowed. I like Ben & Jerry's vanilla, by the way. But for me, I can eat like Ben & Jerry's. I can eat a cup of Ben & Jerry's, coffee or vanilla, with no problem with my sugar going high. Now, if I got that double fudge New York chunky, oh, God, with the chocolate in it, can't have it. I can't eat a Snickers bar, okay? Goes crazy. But I can eat a chocolate bar that's 70% chocolate, okay? Not milk chocolate. I can have a small piece of cake. Very small, by the way, not very big. But most breads I can't have. Listen to this. I can't have, listen to this, oatmeal. They put me on oatmeal. A bowl of oatmeal. We're talking just a bowl, 100 grams, cooked, 3 ounces of oatmeal cooked with water, not with delicious maple syrup on it, not with milk and all stirred up and raisins, just plain oatmeal. I don't even mean this. I'm talking about the stuff you boil and boil and boil and boil. My sugar goes higher on that than on a candy bar. Okay, Dorset granola. You know, Dorset is we found it in England. We're living there, and we're eating it. And Dorset makes a granola that has no raisins in it, no sweet stuff. You know, can't eat it. I can't eat Cheerios. I can't eat bran. You know the bran flakes. I mean, the really disgusting ones. Those little sticks here. They tell you so healthy for you. Every diet pyramid I on recommend it. Can't eat it. And what I found was that as it went for me, it went the same way with everyone else. I can eat tuna, and I put jalapeno peppers in it, and onions and celery, and mayonnaise. And I can eat mayonnaise without my cholesterol going high. My cholesterol is lower than it's been for years. Egg salad is fine. Tuna salad, hard-boiled eggs, devil's eggs. Almost all meats are fine, depending on how you cook them. You know, it's just amazing. And if I buy processed meats, you know, like the salami that comes in the package, that shit don't work. If I make beef jerky, which I do, and I have a smoker, I can make it. If I buy the prepared beef jerky, I can't have it. So it's all how the processing and the additives, and a lot of times, remember, those additives are flavorings now, and they don't have to disclose it. For me, most cheeses are acceptable. Okay, I can eat provolone cheese, which I love, mozzarella, the wet in the water, brie. I love blue cheese and more green, gooey stuff into the bread. I like it on salads. You can eat that. I can eat melons, believe it or not, which I didn't think I could. I can eat cherries. I can eat strawberries. Okay, I can eat Thompson seedless grapes, the green ones, but I can't eat the Concord. So, me and everybody else. So what we have is a system with a smartphone that has a near-field reader in it, and it also has a Bluetooth in it. And depending upon which plan you sign up for, the best one is the one where we do the scanning for you. In other words, you don't have to worry about scanning. Just turn on the Bluetooth device, and you mount the sensor that Abbott provides. You have to get a prescription from your doctor. And all of a sudden, we got this data flowing. 24 hours a day, 7 days. We even have alarms on it for people that have, to try to catch an illness. In other words, if the sugar goes too low, hypoglycemic, or sugar goes too high, an alarm goes off in your smartphone, and then it also advises actually monitoring. Hey, the new technology, right? Over the internet, over a Wi-Fi connection or a 3G, 4G cell phone connection, you're transmitting to us your data on a constant basis. Then you're adding the food to it. And then we're monitoring your data 3 times a day going through the file. And then we're producing a spreadsheet and sending it to you so you can show your doctor or yourself. And you can enter your weight gain, you can enter your blood test. But listen, we've been working on this thing a long time and invested a fortune in it, and I mean a fortune, and we got it all working. That's the key. And so all of a sudden, it's a whole new way of using modern technology. You know, let me tell you how outrageous it is. For 75 years, we'll monitor the oil pressure, temperature, water temperature, voltage in a car. Okay, we have a whole dashboard monitoring all kinds of parameters. Now with the new cars, one of the things we're monitoring RPM, we're monitoring fuel consumption. We have this huge database of information we have about a car, right? Good, nice. But we're not about people. So we're in the process of building information so that on a constant basis we can monitor body temperature, we can monitor oxygen level, we can monitor heartbeat, actually a constant EKG, okay, like a Holter system, if you're aware of the Holter monitor, and we're building that into a smart app. So this is going much forward to where you've got a dashboard monitoring what's going on in your body 24/7, okay? Imagine identifying arrhythmia and problems with the heart ahead of time before there's a heart attack. Imagine monitoring low blood oxygen levels temperature that establishes a fever, maybe there's an illness. So what we're doing is we're working towards this whole dashboard. But right now, the number one information you need as far as diet is concerned is what does your blood sugar look like? And we got it all figured out. We got it really working. We got it down to a science, and we got results. So I'm going to put up here now a slide so you can contact Jim. We have 3 or 4 plans depending upon what your budget is. Obviously, the more money you're spending and letting us give you equipment that you need, the more automatic it is. Okay, let me put it this way. For less than what your diabetes medicine is costing you a month, you can get a complete monitoring situation. Here's the proposition. It's very, very simple. If you don't lose weight, whether you cheat or not, if you don't lose weight, it don't cost you anything. If you're not lowering your blood sugar and you're not able to get your insulin cut down, it don't cost you. We'll give you full refund, send back the equipment. I don't give a damn. But no one has taken me up on a refund yet that's done the program, nobody but nobody. And I have no failures. I have no one that's failed so far that has followed the diet regime. I've had no one that's failed so far that cuts out the foods we tell them to cut out. I have no one that's failed so far that follows the very, very simple, you can't have the Triscuits, but you can have the Wassa crackers, okay? No, you can't have that whole grain, reduced calorie bread. That shit don't work, okay? But you can have the bakery down the road that's doing that special whole wheat bread that's doing it the old-fashioned way, sourdough, okay? So what we're doing, you can have a goddamn pizza. You can go to Domino's and have a pizza. You can have Haagen-Dazs ice cream, but you can't have Nestle's. You can have Ben & Jerry's, okay? So all of a sudden we're going, holy shit. We're discovering what people can and cannot have, and it doesn't make any rhyme or reason. No two people are alike. It's incredible. Same two people, like got husband and wife on the thing, and the husband is eating this stuff, and he's getting fatter and fatter and fatter, and his blood sugar's going to hell. The wife eating the same food, just the opposite. She's not getting enough nourishment. Honey, you got to eat a little more there, okay? But we've got spreadsheets, and every food you eat, every minute by minute of what the glucose is doing, you have a place if you're shooting yourself up with the insulin, you enter what type of insulin, the time you've taken the shot, how much you've given yourself. That's all there. Go to the doctor and say, hey doctor, look at this. And every time we go to the doctor, the sheet, he reduces, and eventually, eventually can stop. So if you're a diabetic and you don't want to die a diabetic, and you know what I mean, and let's talk real straight shit. If you're a diabetic, year after year, the doses get higher. You got the tingling in the lips. The toes don't feel so good anymore. You got those dead spots. You can't sleep. You're pissing 3 times, 4 times a night. You know what I'm talking about. If this is you, what the hell do you got to lose? Okay? We give you no drugs, no herbal tea, no exotic vitamins, none of that bullshit. We go through what you're eating, and you tell us, and then we adjust it. We suggest other foods to try, and I'll give you a menu that will reduce your glucose dramatically. And I'll give you a menu that should work to get you off the insulin, okay? You want off the needle? Is it worth a try? I'll gamble it. You gamble it. We got nothing to lose. We're not playing any games. We don't get involved with your dosage. What we do is we monitor you constantly. We give you the data. You go, here, doctor, here's my spreadsheet. Look what's happening. My glucose is going down, 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 down. What do you think about my insulin? And then the doctors are adjusting. Because remember, anybody that's a diabetic knows that the doctor is constantly adjusting your injections, the amount of insulin you're taking to what's going on in your body. But now I'm going to give him 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can't do a finger strip in the middle of the night. You can't finger strip yourself 20, 30 times a day. You don't have to. Our system does it. This is proven. We have a whole lot of people on there. Call Jim. Let me hook you up. Like I said, we've been very quiet about this. This has been a 2-year project. We've had people on it over a year. We offered it to our preferred subscriber base a few months ago. We got the equipment up. We got a second batch of people. We're ready to put more on there. We got dietitians. We're working with doctors. We're seeing the numbers. And I guess what's happened is I got too many diabetics that aren't diabetics anymore are in remission. I got too many people who are on insulin that are not on insulin. I got too many fat asses that are going, I'm buying new clothes all the time, and I don't have to go to the Fat Man store anymore. If you got to go to the Fat Man store, the Fat Man store, the Fat Man, the Plus Plus shop, and that's where you get a shitty T-shirt. They charge you $100 for it. If you're fat, you know what I'm talking about. Well, guess what? Now you can go to the regular store, and buy the $29.95 one with the same goddamn alligator on it, okay? So if you want to change your life, or you know somebody wants to change, you know what? By the way, if you're a fat ass, believe it or not, it ain't your fault. All that bullshit about, oh, you don't exercise enough and all that. No. You know why? You're getting so energy stressed, you don't want to get off the sofa. Now all of a sudden, you got so much energy because you're eating right and your body's correcting itself that you can't stay on the sofa, okay? This is life-changing. It really, really, really works. All I'm going to ask you to do is change some of the foods you're eating. And it's not like, oh, I'm living on asparagus and shit, you know. Yeah, I want to live like a bunny rabbit. Bullshit, I ain't doing it. I don't have to. I'm eating steaks. I'm eating cheese. I got my crackers. I got ice cream. I got chocolate. I got some crackers. I got a couple cookies I can do. It's like I can do pizza. Life is wonderful again. Food pyramid up the ass. Bullshit. Dietitians, put them against a wall. Okay? Now, by the way, it's not the doctor's dietitian's fault. They just didn't know any better. It's one size fits all, okay? Everyone can fit in a size 10.5 shoe. Bullshit. Okay? Now, all of a sudden, we can make the shoe your size. You got to do this. You owe it to yourself. It could be a couple, 3 weeks. I don't give a damn. Just try it. We're getting results in days. So a little bit of learning how to use the system. You got to put in the sensor. If you can pinprick for me a couple, 3 times a day, make sure the sensor's reading right. That helps. We supply the pinprick kit. You got to go get the sensor yourself because it's by the way, in Europe, we're supplying the sensors to people. Yeah, we got a lot of people in Europe. We're supplying the sensors to the people, but we can't do it in America because it's prescription only. So you got to get that. We're supplying you with a smartphone that is hooked up to our system, our computers that gives it. We're supplying you with on the premium edition automatic scanning. So what you have to do is take your phone over the device to scan it periodically. With the new technology we're just introducing now, it takes a Bluetooth signal from the device. The Bluetooth signal goes directly to the phone. You don't have to scan it anymore. And then basically, and you don't have to enter all the numbers and all that scan. All you got to do is, we recommend eating every 4 hours, by the way. So that's breakfast. Get up in the morning, have a snack while you're running around the house, then get a breakfast. Then have lunch. And then between lunch and dinner, have a snack. And then have dinner. Yeah, you got to have a snack. And then after dinner, snack. So what we're trying to do is get food in every 4 hours. That keeps everything very constant. And then we adjust the food. If your glucose level is going high, well, they're giving you more proteins. If your glucose level is going low, then we're throwing you some carbs in there. Okay, it's kind of amazing. Like, hi, why don't you have a snack of some ice cream, please? Hi, do you have some of that feta cheese you like? Okay, can you mix that up there? How about you want to hear a really good one? This is no shit. Real whipped cream and strawberries is tolerable by most people that have got a severe diabetic problem. Whipped cream, sugar in coffee, you can have it. The whole myth that sugar's the diabetic's worst enemy is not true. Not true. Many people can have sugar. Many people can have honey. Whipped cream and strawberries. Oh, excuse me, I've got to have my diet breakfast here. Pass me the whipped cream, honey, and the fresh, delicious strawberries or blueberries, okay? How about pineapple? I mean, you're sitting there going, what the hell? You put me on this shit cardboard crap bunny rabbit diet? I want to find that dietitian and kick her ass. Okay, now all of a sudden you eat great food. It really, really works. By the way, if you want to know if it's bullshit or not, you eat the food in 2 hours, you'll see the reading about what it's doing in your body. 2 hours. 2 hours. All of a sudden you eat an apple? Yeah, I can have an apple. I can't have an apple. Oh, I can have the granny apple, but I can't have the red delicious. Oh, I can have the green topless seedless grapes, but I can't have the Concord. Oh, I can't have this milk. Okay? I can have yogurt. I can have whipped cream. I can have ice cream. I have chocolate. All of a sudden it's going, holy shit. It's a mystery every day what we discover, what you can have. I'm going to change your life. It really, really works. This is no bullshit. Call Jim. He'll give you the details. He'll get you signed up. It takes about a week to 10 days because we custom program a whole kit of device. Okay, that is the smartphone that does a reading. We set it up where it transmits to us, to our server, your data. We set up for scanning. It's a beautiful system. We really got it down where it's working really, really well. We also educate you on the phone how to use it, and we've had no failures. We have anybody that can't use it. So if you can type where you can say jelly donut, well then you can enter the data. You actually jelly donut, punch in the size, punch in save, 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 and we have it at the time. It's done. That's all you got to do. So if you can punch, if you can speak into a phone and you kind of don't drool too much, you can make this work. By the way, if you drool too much, you start to go, and the phone can't pick it up, well, you can just type it in jelly donut. We got this down to a science. It really, really works. Now, like I said, if you're a skinny six-pack person, eat candy bars, I hate your freaking guts. But if you're a fat ass, you're pre-diabetic, diabetic, welcome to the crowd. You don't have to be one anymore, guaranteed. It really, really works. Or your money back. Your money back. There's no risk. All you got, we know you got to lose. You got to lose about 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds. You got to lose pre-diabetic. And you know what you don't lose? You don't lose your finger and toes, and you don't lose your life to this horrible disease like Terry did.